Hi, Roma. How are you doing?
Tony, I'm so good, really good, and it's great to see you. And it
It's
was lovely to see you up at Sundance as well. What a
great.
nice surprise to get to see you in person.
It was lovely to steal a few moments and have a cup of
Yeah.
coffee with you. And just my crew was so grateful to meet you, and they just love you dearly.
Oh, they were lovely. What a lovely group. And it's so nice now to get to chat about everything that's going on. When I wrote my latest book, Be an Angel, I imagined that I was writing it in a way to be conversational. As if we were having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. And so that was sort of the tone that I was trying to set. I hope you were able to pick up on some of that when you took a look at the book.
Well, I think people are dying for good conversation and also something to inspire them, even if it's something that we do during the day, like what this is. These are devotions and little inspirational messages that put you in a good mind for having a great day.
Well, I think that's right. I think that, it's important to try to set habits that set you up for success in your day. I mean, I wouldn't work out if I didn't have a place in my Pilates class that I committed to attending in the mornings, and I know if I don't go in the morning, I'm not going. And so it's, the changes that you can make in your life are attached to these daily habits. And so I think for me, my prayer life, if you will, my spiritual, emotional life gets started in the mornings. I'm a menopausal woman, and sleep and I are haven't been great friends for a while now. So I find that during the night, there's like a magnification almost in your mind of the things that you might be a little bit worried about, or the things that are stressing you throughout the day. And when the sun finally rises in the morning, it's like, it's not that it evaporates your worries, but it's a great time just to sort of reset, restart the day. And usually that's when I just choose to be quiet and say my morning prayers. And I imagine maybe that this book would help someone take that journey with me and start a morning practice of really just being quiet. Doesn't matter even what your belief system is, or where you are on a faith walk, or if you are on a faith walk. Not everybody is, but there's still an opportunity just to be in nature in the morning and try to reset yourself to welcome the day ahead.
Yeah, I think we carry with us, the scars from the day before or what happened to us during the day, and this is a way to kind of relieve that. And if you have a significant other that you're, sitting in front of, these are great conversation starters too. I mean, the the
Yes.
depth of some of these inspirational
Yeah.
messages.
Well, as you know, Tony, because I lived for so many years in the great state of Utah, where we filmed Touched by an Angel, angels just have had been a significant part of my life for, the better part of 30 years now. And, at the height of the success of Touched by an Angel, over 25 million people would tune in every week for that message of hope and encouragement. And so really inspired by that, I this book also came about to not just to remind people of the presence of angels, that they're mentioned almost 300 times in the Bible, but to use the term be an angel as a kind of a reminder that love is a verb, and that love is an action.
Yeah.
And at the end of each chapter, I write, be an angel, encouraging you to, you've heard this story, a personal story from me. You may have heard then the lesson, that I feel was valuable in my life through the tribulations, through the triumphs. There's heartache and there's joy, and that's just everybody's life. Nobody gets away without some heartache, and so that's, these were the lessons that I had learned. And then at the end of each chapter, I just leave an encouragement. It's just called Be an Angel. It's like suggestions of something that you might be able to do to bring tenderness or kindness into the life of somebody else. And in the way that you might be an angel today to someone, tomorrow you might be the one that needs someone to be an angel to you. And we know what comes around goes around. So it really, I sometimes scroll. I get lost down the Alice in Wonderland a whole of the internet along with everybody else. I have to set myself reminders. Sometimes I set like the alarm. I think, well, I'll allow myself a little wander through Instagram, but only for 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever it is. Because I have been on there a few times and it's like, my goodness, how did 15 minutes go by? I'm just like, mindlessly looking at nothing, honestly.
It's like visiting a terrible swap meet.
No, isn't it? I know, and listen, not to be judgmental about it, but all I'm saying is that unless we can set more intentional choices for how we spend our time. But when I'm in there, I'm often struck by just how mean-spirited the world can be, particularly on Twitter. I find that there's just a lot of snarkiness and people just being unkind. And, I hate to sound like somebody's mother, although I am somebody's mother, to say that, what is happening in our world that people think it's okay to speak to each other that way. I mean, there used to be a time where we could disagree and agree to disagree, that we don't have to be berating each other and calling each other every name under the sun. So
I think it's because it's nearly anonymous.
Yes.
I don't think that.
I think you're right. No, I think if you had to add your name, you're right. If you had to add your name and photo and saying, I, Roma, I'm saying this, people wouldn't be saying half of what they're saying.
Yeah, we wouldn't say that to each other in person.
I just wanted to, but that was kind of my motivation for wanting to write a book like this, which was really just to say, look, let's reset our time and let's remember how to be decent and nice to each other.
And it doesn't take very much. It's not a grand effort.
No, it's not at all. And these are not Herculean tasks that are being said in this book. It's really just, to kind of look in your heart. You already know. I think we already know what we should be doing, and these are just little nudges.
Well, as a reader, as a person that loves books, I love your other two books. Of course, Box of Butterflies is just a wonderful book, and Unexpected Blessings. I mean, those are, those help people, and you should be.
I know I've had. You are very, very proud. It's remarkable, really, Tony, because when we first met, of course, I was primarily an actor, and in the interim, I've had the good fortune and a lot of success as a film and TV producer. So my life as an author is still like, it's not my full-time job, but it's a passion of mine. I really just write what's on my heart and hope that it might be of, helpful or enjoyable or entertaining to somebody. But I know that our dear friend Rick Warren often talks, he's used the phrase about turning pain into purpose. And I think that some of that, because my book deals with loss, deals with grief and heartache, because I lost my mother at such a tender age of 10, my father when I was in my early 20s. And, those losses have shaped the woman that I become. And I mean, I don't never not miss them, but you have to learn how to live your best life. I tried to live my best life to honor their memory, But yeah, this is my third book. I love they did such a beautiful job with the cover. As you know, I'm just a big fan of blue. Look, my team were laughing at me earlier. They thought, who else would have a manicure that matches the color of your book? I was like, hey, I'm all in for the blues, and the books look, nice together. But I wanted to create a book too that maybe, if it wasn't for yourself, that it would be for the angel in your life. It's a lovely book to gift to somebody else. And I just want to mention, because I also recorded the audio version of the book, because a lot of people, myself included, particularly if I'm driving somewhere, I would prefer to listen to a book sometimes. I mean, there's no substitute, I think, for the whole feel of a book in your hands. But if you're, if you're out and about or you've got your headphones on, it's also a nice way is to listen to the book. So that's available for folks as well. The book is available everywhere. I know, it's so exciting, I mean, obviously I was writing this book over the last 18 months. And, but at the same time, it wasn't my day job. I get up, in the mornings. I mean, I'm an early riser, so usually by noon, I've accomplished quite a bit, but I just love to watch the sunrise. It's one of my deepest joys, and the Bible tells us that the angels were there for the very first sunrise. They were around at creation. So I just think it's just such a privilege to be able to see another day. And, if I wasn't thankful for anything else the rest of the day, it's just to say thank you for a new day, for being able to see a new sunrise, and hoping just to make the best of the day ahead. I mess up royally like everybody else. Believe me, I'm not an angel. I just played one on TV, but I think just doing your best is all we can do, right?
I like to think of you as beloved. You're a human, but you are beloved by many, and you bring a little sunshine everywhere you go.
Thank you. Well, we do our best, right?
Yeah.
We do our best.
What was it like for you that morning when you got the phone call that your other book hit the New York Times bestseller list?
Oh my gosh, I was actually out on the road with the book, and working with my team. Claire Ann came running down the hallway. It was a knock on the door, actually. She was like, "Woo!" And I think we jumped up and down. I'm sure did a joy dance. And there might have been champagne, but I'm actually certain we got a bottle of champagne or had a glass of champagne, just because that's quite an accomplishment. And I was just so humbled and overjoyed at the same time, that because that was really very much memoir-ish.
Yeah. And
that my life story would have been, I guess, welcomed into people's hearts, so was very nice. But listen, it's like, I wrote this book, Tony, to be honest, I imagined a woman, and I imagined that she'd gone through something this last year that, whether it was a disappointment or a hurt or a bereavement, a loss of some kind. And I imagined writing this book for her, that she would find strength and comfort in it. Now, I hope the book finds its way to her. I hope that more than just herself buys the book. The book, will have a bigger audience than that one person. But the style of writing, I wanted it to be intimate and to feel personal. And I wrote it with the intention just that it would, that it would bring a little bit of joy.
It's a lot of things. When you approach people on a very personal level, it becomes therapeutic, and you're sharing an intimacy, a pain and grief, and it becomes something different at that.
Yes, I do. I think so. I think when we're willing to be vulnerable too, we're raised in a world sometimes where people don't encourage you to have feelings. I mean, I think maybe even more so for you as a guy, I mean, when I grew up in Ireland, I know that the men in our family and the men in our lives were never encouraged to have a feeling or show a feeling, that somehow that was perceived as a weakness, Yeah. And yet sometimes just to share something that has, that has been hurtful, even if nobody around you is offering a solution or a fix to it, just sometimes to speak it and to have it listened to lovingly can be such a great balm, can be such a great healer. And so that's one of the things I discuss in Be an Angel. It's like, maybe speak less and listen more, and just to be a good friend that way, and don't feel that you have to have judgment if your friend comes to you to share something, to just be able to hold that space for them and give them a hug, you know. That
Sometimes
can
when we're
mean
dealing with other people, we tend to play the game of, well, you think that's terrible. Look what happened to me. And it's sometimes people just need you to shut up and listen
that's
and
right.
give them a hug.
And that's right. Sometimes the hug is everything. It's like, I know, you know, that around people, I'm not saying that we all should sit around and talk about death and dying, but I'm Irish and we do talk about it a lot.
You sing about
We're
it.
not we're not uncomfortable talking about it, but I know that Americans are a little bit uncomfortable talking about it. And when someone has died, you know, I've heard friends say, "Oh, I don't want to go over there because I don't know what to say. I don't want to call her. I don't know what to say." And that's a real thing for Americans. And in an Irish family, you say, "Well, there's nothing to say. There's nothing to be said." It's like, this has happened. I'm sorry. And just allow the person to be in their grief, to feel sad. Sadness is just a feeling and it will pass too. You know, it's like, but it's like to allow someone the dignity of their feelings is an important thing. And that's, you know, that's, I think, you know, that was just something that I addressed in the book as well.
And there's an old saying that I heard when I was a kid, and I kept it with me. It goes, grief is just love with nowhere to go.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, that's so beautiful. It's true, but you know, everybody, when you are willing maybe to step into a conversation about it with somebody, I mean, everybody's lost somebody, haven't they? You know,
Yeah, it's true.
we don't go through this life untouched by that. So, and it's the great equalizer. I mean, there's an inevitability to our own lives, but that's a whole other conversation that people are even less, you know, comfortable talking about. I'm a person of faith. So, I mean, not that I'm, you know, I hope I have many more years left, but it doesn't bring the same terror, perhaps, that it might if you didn't have a belief system, you know.
True.
But anyway, these are the important things. Like at the end of the day, what are the things that connect us? It's love and family and loss and being, you know, kind and good. And so I just sort of selected these themes that are the great connectors, and so that we might remember that we all belong to each other, and that we might all, you know, where we can, be an angel to each other.
Are you doing a book tour with this one?
I'm not. I'm doing a book Zoom tour.
Oh,
It's sort of like the new way of being, isn't it? I mean, it was ushered in. I never even heard the word Zoom before the pandemic. And now my entire business is like, you know, I'm on Zoom. I should have bought those stocks. Where not, I think there will be a few book signings and in some different places, but you know, we're just reliant on good folks like yourself, just letting people know about it. And for any of your listeners and fans that, you know, if they pick the book up and they like it, that they would let a friend know, or, you know, just help spread the word.
I've been telling people, get one for yourself and then get an extra one for a gift, because you're going to want to share it with somebody.
That's so nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Roma, we're going to talk. Excuse me. We're going to talk a little bit later on in the month, or next month,
Yes,
about the
about
new
the film.
A Wing and a Prayer.
My film coming up. Well, we'll look forward to that. But you know, I have my book is Be an Angel. And just a little teaser, the film is called On a Wing and a Prayer. And I was thinking, gosh, it's like just the season of wings and things, you know. And my other book, A Box of Butterflies, is like, I'm just, there's a common thread, really, probably through all of my work. Tony, is the truth, you know, in the last 30 years. If you had to say, what is the thing that connects all these movies and TV projects and, you know, films and books, and it's, you know, it's like it is heartbeat. It's just trying to remind people of the love of God, and a theme of hope that runs throughout. You know, as you know, I have a production company and we're called Light Workers, and one of our mantras is that it's better to light a candle than curse the darkness. And so I think of all the things that I'm working on just as ways just to bring the light of hope into people's lives. and hopefully do it in a fun way too. Like I don't want to be so serious all the time. People need to laugh as well, right?
Do you have a butterfly on you right now?
I don't have a butterfly on right at this minute. No, I don't. But I had earlier. But yeah,
I love the way they
I'm a
appear for
butterfly
you
queen.
when you need it.
I know Mark was joking with me because all through my Touched by an Angel career, people would send me angels. I get angel cards, angel pictures, angel statues, angel jewelry. And then with the success of my book, Box of Butterflies, people were sending me butterfly cards, butterflies, butterflies, butterflies. And he said, maybe next you should write a book called Diamonds and Emeralds. I was like, yes, yes.
Well, again, I adore you. I love you so much. You're one of my dear, dear friends, and I can't wait for the next time we speak. But be an angel. I predict it's going to hit the New York Times best-selling list.
Oh, well, from your lips to God's ears. But I'm just praying that one woman whose heart is hurting and will find comfort in this book will find the book.
Yeah, I'm sure she will, and they will that need to hear this. And bless you so much for being being the angel in my life too. I'm married to a wonderful angel, but you are a professional angel.
Thank you. Lovely to see you, Tony.